Hello and welcome, folks, to another edition of RSF Radio. I'm your host, Joe Monday, and this is the show where we talk about what's been going on the front page of our Street Fighter, and typically we bring on a new guest every week. This week, I'm happy to be joined by TokiMekiEmily. How you doing?
Hi, I'm doing good. How are you?
So I was under the impression that you're on like a tear right now. You are driven. You've got the power in you. And you want to kind of spread a message right now. What do you got going on? Give me your pitch.
So basically, my message is for the FGC to kind of see and kind of be aware of disabled gamers. I mean, we all know that they're out there, right? But I don't think that they get the recognition or necessarily the resources to travel like most well-known players in the community, and I kind of want to bring that to light, and I kind of want to show people that there's talent in people and in a person that you least expect, whether they be in a wheelchair or blind or have whatever, that they're talented in some way, some shape or form.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, so I guess to spread a little bit of background story for people who might not know who you are.
Yeah.
Kind of explain your situation and what you've experienced so far in the FGC, or just gaming in general.
My FGC experience, for the most part, has been positive, because I started out in the community as a cosplayer, and I made my debut at SCR 2017 with my boyfriend Eric, who let me cosplay. He really wanted me to dive in and give the community a chance when I was really reluctant and scared. I mean, as you know, women, in the community they didn't really mix well at one point in time, and they still don't. But I guess you could say it's more open now, so I kind of opened my mind to it.
Well, for people who might not know, what was your cosplay experience like? Let's say.
So it's interesting. It was good in the sense that the FGC treated me well, but my own friends who know me personally hated the idea and hated me being a cosplayer and getting so much exposure / attention when I wasn't gaming or doing anything in the community.
Wait a minute. Roll it back here for a second. What exactly do you mean by that?
To my friends, cosplay isn't really doing anything. It's just dressing up and, flaunting around in a costume, and that's about it. I know it's ridiculous.
That's not very supportive, but I digress. So I guess then, what's your goal here? I get the question I'm not asking here. Could you explain what kind of difficulties have you seen as a
I think the difficulty that I see is that in the FGC in particular is that no one really knows how to respond to like a disabled person. Like I said, whether they be in a wheelchair or whatever, a lot of people are kind of taken back by it. Like they're like, whoa, like this girl cosplays and plays video games? Like what? It's kind of like I don't really know how to explain it. It's just something that I think doesn't need to happen. I think people need to see a competitor for who they are and what they bring to the table, whether they be top tier or low tier in their skill level. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I guess in that regard, are there other players or I guess organizations that you would want to point out here?
One of my biggest inspirations in the FGC and in my life personally is my very good friend Broly Legs.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people know him. I met him last year at Evo, and that guy literally changed my life and is the reason why I'm doing this movement is for him, because I believe that he doesn't get the attention that he deserves as a wonderful competitor and teacher that he is.
Yeah, I think that in some regards I would agree with you. He if people don't know, Broly is confined to a. It's not. What do you call that? What does he call that? Because I was gonna say chair, but it's not a chair. It's like his table, his mobile table.
Well, he calls it a wheelchair, so we'll call it a wheelchair.
Okay. I was gonna say, like, I think I've heard him say that, but regardless, anyway, he has a whole book on exactly what his disability is, but effectively, you don't know him. He plays with his mouth and some limited mobility in his hands. He plays a fantastic Chun. He's a great competitor. And was actually voted into the Street Fighter League USA just this past like 2 weeks ago or something like that, which is that is I'm excited for him. I think he's been needing some kind of I don't know if it that's the thing. I don't want to say that like he needs like a big break, because like he's putting in work and he's getting. There are, I don't know, there's like, what am I trying to say here? Because it's not like I think that he isn't recognized by people, even though he hasn't reached that like next level of recognition. He's in a weird place, but I think that the SFL USA is a good opportunity for him.
The best example I give to people is if you were to put him next to, let's say, Knuckle Dew, who are people gonna know best?
I suppose that's true. But that's by some degree. I mean, Knuckle Dew was a sponsored player. He won the CPT. He has that recognition as a player.
But that's kind of my point, is that Broly he's on a level that most people are not, who are able-bodied and like have full dexterity of their hands. He's on because I'm trying to put this in like a sense to where I don't come off a certain way, seeming like he deserves an opportunity because he's disabled.
Mm-hmm.
I'm speaking as someone that, is disabled. I mean, I have cerebral palsy, but, this isn't about me. This is about other people like me who aren't given opportunities because their disability isn't noted first, and that pretty much closes out any conversation. I believe Broly has the same issue where he can't progress in his career because what's noted first is his limitation or his impairment, whatever you want to call it. I personally don't like to use the word disabled because it has a negative connotation to me.
Mm-hmm. What's your go-to language around this topic?
I use the word impaired a lot because it sounds nicer. But I mean, generally speaking, disabled is the term to use, right? But I mean, to me, when I talk about Broly Legs, I get so riled up. I get so emotional about it because I believe that this guy deserves so much, not because he's in a wheelchair, but because he's shown so much growth as a player, and he teaches people. He passes on his knowledge in a way that most FGC players don't. I mean, you know, Chris T teaches people by making YouTube videos, and that's great. I love him for that. You know, but generally speaking, most of these FGC players don't give back in a way that I think they should. Because had it not been for their, you know, audience, their fans, I don't think they'd be where they are. Granted, yes, they have talent, but you know what I'm saying?
I do, in a way, in that
like
what
I
you're
said,
more
I'm
so
trying
referring
not...
to is that there is a little bit of responsibility with the influence that these people have. To what I've
definitely
seen, Broly is actually, I mean, he's quite responsible with what he does. And he actually spends a lot of time with people on stream and talking through things and teaching people as well, offering lessons when he can.
I know that, you know, people might say, oh, well, he's not sponsored because he has a negative attitude, and, you know, he's jealous of other players that are sponsored. Mm-hmm. And I mean,
he is vocal. He has been vocal about that in the past. That is 100% true.
Yes, but I think we all have a different way of accepting other people's success, and I don't think it's jealousy. I just think it's the way you express it.
Yeah, I should be more clear with what I said there. It's not that he is expressing jealousy, it's that he now I'm struggling to find the words because it isn't that. It's that he knows the work that he's put in, and to see himself be passed up on opportunities time and again seems to be a point of contention for Broly in general.
Yes, and that's where I want to make that change and give him an opportunity, whether it be to travel or to just gain more exposure as a player. I mean, I'm not asking organizations to sponsor him. I'm just asking that there'd be recognition for a player like him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, people are coming to me and asking me, oh, you know, are you asking to be sponsored? Are you asking organizations for specific things? And I'm going to go on record and say, no, this is not about me. This is not for me. This is for so many other people.
Yeah, would you want to talk about some of the other impaired gamers?
There was one other gamer that I came across. His name is Wheels FGC, and he's a Tekken player. I'm not sure exactly what his disability is, but I have taken notice of him. He's very well known in the Tekken community. But that's all I pretty much know right now. So if you guys know more about him, feel free to tell me, because I don't know.
There's also blind players out there. Sven, the Blind Warrior, for example.
Yeah.
Which he's shown up on Reddit a number of times. Which you might say, how could he browse Reddit? There are ways to do that. He's shown me.
Yeah.
He's like shown me that link. He's linked me the thing that he uses. It's one of those. I don't know. I can't remember the exact name, but it's a thing where you can read text through Braille, represented in what is on the computer.
Yeah.
One big problem with that he's expressed in the past is that that thing does not work well with any form of Discord, which is it's an accessibility problem in that when I think about where a lot of FGC discussions are, it's either Twitter or on specific Discords, which that's just a lot of information and a lot of opportunity that he's missing out on because of accessibility.
Yeah, and that's kind of another thing that I want to touch on is that people kind of overlook accessibility as a whole, whether it be in or at events.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
I think what you might be referring to is, I think, just to go back to Burley for a minute here, but Texas Showdown in 2018, when they got Burley on stage, which very often he has been vocal in the past and continues to bring up that in the event that he would make it on the stream or get top 8, make it to finals day, then a lot of places have never put thought into wheelchair access.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes. And that's another big thing that really bothers the living fuck out of me is that you see these top 8 stages and they have, stairs.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Fucking stairs? Like, not everybody walks. Like, that's another thing that really bothers me to a point where, like, I can't even talk.
Well, I mean, it for events like that, like such as Evo, where it's very apparent that there was no ramp access, doesn't necessarily mean that they never had that in mind. There could be a ramp under the stage that they could set up and take down at a moment's notice. It's a possibility,
right?
But
at least
some places have not thought about that.
Yeah, but at least show that it's there. At least, give me peace of mind that, if I were to make top 8 somehow, that I would be granted access and somebody wouldn't have to physically pick me up and put me on stage and then carry me back down.
Right. Another solution that people have been vocally open to and accept is a splitter on the monitor, to have one at floor level. That has been shown to be an easier solution that is agreeable. At least Broly has said so in the past. Although I don't want to speak for him.
I mean, I'm not asking for like monumental, like groundbreaking change. I just want organizations to take the small things into account.
Right.
And
are there any other little things that that people haven't taken into consideration in terms of disability or impairment?
I think it's honestly, like, it's gonna sound really stupid, but I think one thing that people don't take into account is bathroom access. I mean,
that's not stupid. That's a very basic need, honestly.
And I don't like talking about this, but I'm gonna talk about this now so that it's out there and people know that this is a problem. But for example, for me, when I'm in costume, when I cosplay, I need help getting in and out of my costume to use the bathroom. And a lot of bathrooms are either for men or for women. And so my boyfriend feels uncomfortable going in with me because he thinks that he'll cause a scene with another woman being in there and freaking out.
No,
You
I
know?
hadn't thought about that. That makes sense when the person who is there to help you with that situation can't have,
Yeah.
or at least because that could be a potential problem. I can see that.
Oh yeah,
That's not a.
and it's happened to me personally a lot.
Mhm.
And
Without
it's
like
the main.
a shared
Yeah.
like unisex bathroom that has like a locked
Yeah.
door. Usually, some
Yeah,
places have like a third room.
Like
Sorry, go ahead.
like at Evo,
Mhm.
it's very hard to find a unisex restroom. I think from my count, there is only like one, but it's way inside the. So you walk out of the venue and you walk down the hall,
Right.
like maybe like 5-10 minutes. But in those 5-10 minutes, like I could like pee my pants.
I mean, not funny, but I mean, you're not wrong, because it's when we're talking Evo hallways and we're talking Las Vegas, things are far away. It's
Yes.
not easy to get. You have to leave the venue and get badged back in.
Yeah,
It becomes
and
a whole
it's,
process.
It does, and that's one thing that I want people to kind of be aware of. I mean, if you see me going into the bathroom with my boyfriend, don't assume that I'm gonna have sex with him in the bathroom, because that's disgusting and I would never do that.
I don't know if anyone was making that assumption until you said it out loud.
You'd be surprised, honestly. You'd be surprised how many people were like, "Whoa, can you wait till I'm done?" And I was like, "What?"
Like, no, can
Like,
you wait
I'm
till
here
I'm
to
done
pee.
pissing here? I gotta go, and these boots don't take. Come on.
Like, you'd be surprised the confrontations I've had with other women in restrooms. It's pretty ridiculous.
Well, that sounds absurd. Is there anything else that you don't think that people are things that aren't often taken into consideration in terms of abled gamers?
Please, when you see me, do not walk slow. Do not walk in front of me. That's another thing that really irritates me.
No, why is that exactly?
Because they walk slow, and I'm in a wheelchair, so I kind of need a little bit more space. And one thing I noticed is that venue spaces are often very compact.
Yeah.
And space is very limited, and I understand that. But if you see someone that needs a little bit more space, that's in a wheelchair or not, just do your best to move out of the way the best you can. Because, like, that's one thing that really bothers me, is people tend to bunch up and not move. And when you ask them to move politely, they just stare at you, like, very rudely.
It's an issue of you trying to conserve momentum and have to kind of finagle your way around, whereas someone who could just sidestep would be easier to just move. But when you are attached to a larger chair, I mean, you're not trying to run into people.
No, but if I do, it's on accident, so don't get mad at me.
I mean, maybe I was just like build like a grill in front of it and just like kind of give people a shoulder. Build that into your cosplay.
I just want to become a Gundam at this point, you know?
No, I'm for that. I can get down with a mobile suit. That'll be
because if I'm bigger, then people will see me and move out of the way.
Fair enough. So I guess consideration of requiring more space, or like just trying to get out. I mean, I've tried to move around pools, and that ain't easy
Oh my God, yes.
I
Like,
mean,
it's not easy.
speaking of that, I'm just thinking about last year at Canada Cup. It was impossible to move in between the pools, like where the setups were. Like, it was nearly impossible. They were so close back to back that I couldn't imagine someone that had a wheelchair having access to any of the inside rows at all. It would have been impossible.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm talking about. Like, some venues make pools totally impossible to like maneuver through because they're so tightly compacted into a corner or whatever that it makes it hard for even the average person to move. So imagine a person like me who's in a wheelchair moving around in that space. It's impossible.
Right.
I mean, because I compete too. I go to tournaments and I compete now. So when I have to like play in a pool area that's like small, I'm like, well, holy shit, like how do I back up and get to my spot?
Yeah.
When there's 10 people in front of me that are also trying to get to their pool.
Yeah, you would need, effectively, the easiest solution for you would just be to park at one location, either to the side of or directly behind a station.
Yeah, but sometimes you have to parallel park and there's no space.
Fair enough. Good point.
I mean, I'm that type of person that can crack jokes about, being in a wheelchair because I'm that comfortable. But I know that some people aren't, so if you find my sense of humor like rude or whatever, I'm sorry. I'm just used to it.
No, I mean that's totally fine. It could be a good mechanism to deal with your situation, and that's admirable at best.
Yeah, because I think that last thing I want to touch on is I think people that see disabled gamers are automatically inclined to talk down on them in a way that's not rude or isn't meant to be rude, but still comes off that way because.
In what exact way are you saying? Can you give an example of this?
So, for example, for me, when I talk to people in the community, they're inclined to like, get closer to me and speak louder. I don't need you to speak louder unless we're in like a tournament setting, but if you're right in front of me and we're outside, like
wait a minute. Wait, why do people do that? It's your
I don't know. I think
it's your legs that don't work, not your ears.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, hey, waist down I don't work, but waist up I'm fine.
What? Okay.
And
just a little like non-thinking thing like that could be. Little things like that. I imagine could stack up.
But one thing I do appreciate, and I wish people would do this more often, is when people kneel down to my level. That's so appreciated because as it is, I'm sitting down, and if I were standing up, it'd make no difference. I'm 4 feet 10 inches tall,
right? So
I'm tiny. Okay, yeah. So when people kneel down to my level, it makes me feel like I'm a person.
Otherwise, you're just talking to a bunch of crotches.
Yeah, exactly. And oh my god, you should see the stares that I get. Like, I'm not looking at some guy's penis on purpose. or some girl's butt. Like
I mean you could be.
Sometimes it can't be helped. If I'm looking, it's not to check your boyfriend out or your girlfriend out, I promise.
It's just that ass is right in line of sight. You can't avoid it.
It's literally right there. What are you going to do?
It has its own gravitational pull. Come on.
And but yeah, that's another thing. My eye level gets me in trouble sometimes.
Okay. But all right, that's something to consider, though.
And just one thing I do really appreciate about the FGC is how they have treated me well.
Yeah, because it's not all bad.
Like
we've
family.
done a lot of dunking here, where it could be construed as like things are all bad, but it's not that way.
Oh yeah, like there are some amazing people in the community, like Ricky Ortiz, Chris T, Sherry Jenix. Like these are people that I've talked to and had conversations with, and are genuinely like nice people. So if you see them, say hi to them, talk to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're very real people. I'll agree with that. But there's also good organizations out there who are doing good work in this space and in gaming in general.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Like there's Abled Gamers. There's I'm trying to think of this other organization that contacted me. I can't remember their name, but what they do is they bring esports to their high school and teach young kids and disabled kids like competitive gaming. And I think that's really cool. So
is this like affiliated with like ESPN at all? Because I know that they've just done a pretty big push into high school and college esports.
No, I think that this high school is an up and coming project.
Okay.
So they are relatively small, and I'm sorry that I don't know their name off the top of my head. I've been doing a lot of networking lately, so.
Okay. Not going to name drop. All right. I get it. I see how it is. I see how.
I'm
just talking to so many people. I mean, how could I remember all of them?
Hey, at least I'm doing something good.
Nah, I'm giving you shit for it, but Able Gamers.
Shit.
Sorry.
How dare you?
But I will say that Able Gamers is they're great. They're a great charity that I believe most people can give to. They usually have things going on. They're always at a bunch of events, not just in the FGC, but kind of esports in general. Not even esports, just like general gaming. They're just kind of out there. But
I believe that they're going to PAX soon. And
yeah, they'll be at PAX East.
Yeah, and they helped Broly get to Evo last year.
Yeah, they have helped Broly in the past. Is he still with them? I need to check his.
Sponsored by them? I'm not sure.
Yeah,
so that's something that
not at this moment, I don't think. But he has been sponsored by them in the past. I do know that they've helped him out.
Yeah. But I think that this is overall what I'm trying to do is just bring awareness to disabled people in the FGC, whether they want to compete or just be a part of it. I want them to have an environment where they could truly just be themselves and fit in, because society is kind of mean. Society is very mean. The real world is mean to everybody, and I'm not saying that disabled people have it harder, but I think it's a lot more you have a lot more to prove to people when you're disabled than when you're not. And then being whatever, ethnic group you are adds to that. So it's just it's a lot, and I just want I want esports to kind of be that foreground for disabled people and whomever to just come in and be themselves, be their natural selves, and feel accepted.
Because it can be empowering.
Yeah.
For example, I mean, you are a cosplayer and a competitor. You're both, and you can do that, and you have access to it. Things might not always be the easiest, but it is a possibility. You are capable, and you are encouraged to continue to do those things by at least some portions of the community. It might not be at the forefront of every tournament organizer's thought, but I know that other organizers have reached out and thought about these things in the past. I mean, Jabali has been open about it. He's really good at making sure that there's accessibility at his events.
Yes. And I love him for that.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't been the CEO personally, but I want to go because I know that that's an event where I'll be taken care of if I need to play on stream.
Yeah.
Or do any of that. I know that he's got my back, and I appreciate him for that.
Yeah, he's one of the best, clearly.
You know,
yeah.
Yes. You know, Jabali and Alex Valle are very cool. You know, Alex Valle's had my back in the past. At Wednesday Night Fights, you know, some dudes were giving me a hard time because I was playing Tekken and, you know, I was a girl and all that kind of bullshit. But he set them straight. And
damn right, Uncle Tio, man. Tio Valle.
Hell yeah. Yeah, he's very good. So if you guys see him around, don't be afraid to talk to him because he's very down to earth.
Word. In that case, is there anything else that you want to share before we kind of spin off here?
I think the last thing is that when I started my Twitter, it was basically all cosplay positivity and showing people that you can cosplay whatever character, do whatever you want in the cosplay realm. And I still stick by that till this day, even though I'm more focused on spreading, you know, disabled gamers awareness or whatever you want to call it. I'm still focused on that.
Do you have like upcoming cosplays or anything you want to share?
Upcoming cosplays, I think I will go back to doing Cammy White. I will continue on being Chun-Li. I will hopefully be doing Diva in her mech suit. I don't know. Maybe I might transform my wheelchair into a giant Gundam.
That would be cool. In all fairness, that would be pretty rad, actually.
I mean, I want to do that. I need help. I need a lot of help.
Right.
I need a lot of boxes.
I guess that would be true as well. The tools that you would need to craft something like that might not be accessible, actually.
And that's the other thing too, is that people think that cosplay needs to be super elaborate, super detailed. You know, that you need to make your own costumes, and that's not necessarily the case. You can buy online, you can buy off eBay, Amazon, whatever you know. Just do it.
There are also a lot of creators out there who have things that they don't wear anymore or that don't fit them. I know that there's a lot of like in trading as well, which is that's good. That's just as valid as any other kind of cosplay.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I want to set straight too, is that cosplay doesn't need to be an exclusive thing where only people that craft or people that create can be a part of it. I mean, you can cosplay anything you want, whatever way you want, as long as you're happy with what you got. Like I know various cosplayers, Kitty Kaboom, Romanova,
Hmm.
Vampy, Bit Me. You know, they're amazing cosplayers, and their message is so positive, and I kind of want to bring that down to everyone else that thinks that cosplayers are stuck up or snobby. There aren't snobby
Yeah,
cosplayers
I don't. I have
everywhere.
never experienced that in my experience with people who do cosplay. I've never met someone who's been like that. I'm sure it does exist. I just not in front of
Yeah,
me. But no, that's cool.
yeah.
And
Um,
you're showing people that it is something that you can do even if you are uh,
even if you're new, even if you're older, even if your body isn't what you ideally want,
yeah, I
don't
think
feel.
that is a weird thing that happens in cosplay where someone might not have the body type, and then what I will see is people being like on the internet saying this is bullshit because you don't look like or aren't like this character. You aren't the skin
Yes,
color of this character, which is
and I've yeah, and I've got that.
yeah,
I've gotten that. I've gotten those comments, so I know what those people go through.
yeah.
Like I said when we started, I've been hated on by my own friends
Hmm.
for cosplaying, especially for cosplaying Cammy White because I'm not white,
Hmm.
you know? Because I'm not in shape. It's so many things, but at the end of the day, if you're happy with how your body looks, and even if you're not, but you still want to cosplay, do it anyway. Fuck it. Fuck it. Fuck the negativity. Fuck the negative friends. Just do what you want to do and be happy.
Yeah, I mean, you're not doing it for other people. That's not the point. That's not what brings you joy.
No.
So why succumb to that?
And,
Let's say.
yeah, and for me, it was a lot of my friends telling me, well, why do people follow you on Twitter? You don't do anything. You just cosplay. And I'm like, honestly, I don't know. I wish I knew why people followed me.
Oh no. Oh no. Well. Well, in any case, that's a good positive message, I think, to end on. Unless there's anything else that you want to touch upon before we head out here.
No, thank you for giving me a platform to speak on, and I hope that what I'm doing is going to change some people's lives, even if it's one person. I'm happy. And I hope that what I'm building is a foundation that'll last and that'll keep growing for many years to come, even when I'm not here anymore.
Of course, you got to keep at it. You got to keep putting that message out there in whatever platforms you can handle. So
Yeah.
keep it up. Find more outlets. Write, talk,
You
cut
know,
videos,
you
do
know
what you
what?
can.
I might be like Broly Legs, and I might write my own book.
I mean, as someone who has done that shit's easy. Nah, I'm just kidding.
You know what? Then
It's
okay.
quite an undertaking actually, and also you should read Broly's book. Everybody out there.
Yeah,
Anyway,
definitely read it.
before we spin off, I cannot let you go without asking you the question I ask everyone when they come on this show. It's a two-part question that I think tells a lot about a person's character. And let's begin. Part one of that question is, what is your favorite normal attack in any fighting game?
Heavy punch.
Of?
Street Fighter. Technically, sure you can.
That's fine.
Sure you can.
You can answer this however you like. There are kind of no rules. I say that there are rules. There's not really rules.
Okay, so my favorite move is Sakura's Shoryuken in Street Fighter 5.
Okay. Why exactly would that be?
Because she's so cute. I love her.
Like the motion of it,
me.
like how many hits it is, like the range.
Just
what are we talking
the
about?
motion and the animation, especially when it's EX Shoryuken. It's so pretty. It's so pink. I love it.
Fair enough. No, it's a good move. I like it. I think it is interesting as a character when you can whiff punish or you stand light kick and cancel it into a Shoryuken from like downtown and have that connect, or just use a Shoryuken raw as a whiff punish. That's something that a lot of people don't tend to think about when they think about whiff punishing.
Just wake up EX DP.
Or that too. That's the real galaxy brain. But part 2 of the question is, what is your favorite combo in any fighting game?
Oh, favorite combo. It used to be Street Fighter 4's Cammy's CQC.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, that was a good one. That one always bothered me. I don't like the snapping sounds, specifically within the neck region. I can understand why someone might like it, but to me, it is unsettling in a way that it puts me off. But I'm not here to yuck your yum, though. So that's a good answer. However, for me, specifically the one in the neck, something about neck snapping just is historically for me. I can't handle it. There's a couple things I don't get queasy when I see violence or like see blood or anything like that. It's not that way. But
for me, it's a joke when she neck snaps people in the game, because people used to ask me all the time, "Oh, Emily, why are you in a wheelchair?" And I used to be like, "CQC."
Oh God.
And they'd be like, "What?" And I was like, "Oh, I got into a car accident and like shattered my spine. No big deal." But even though that's not what
that used to be your favorite combo. What is then your favorite?
My current favorite is Sakura's CA.
Okay. Why you like Sakura? Why exactly?
I love Sakura. I love Sakura so much because she is so cute, so spunky, so just in your face, powerful. I love it.
Do you like what they've done to her character in Street Fighter V? Or specifically the characterization of Sakura in Street Fighter V?
No.
Oh no.
I miss the cheap stuff from Street Fighter 4. I miss the infinite Tatsu into crouching.
Crouching.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
The Tatsu loops. Yeah.
Yeah, I miss that, and so obviously Street Fighter 5 doesn't have that. Yeah. But Street Fighter 4 was so good, and people used to hate it so much.
Nah, I like the Tatsu loops. Those were fun.
I miss the Tatsu loops.
But
I miss those days.
Yeah. I wish you had them in 5, but alas, it's not what we have.
It's okay. We can find someone that will mod it into PC and we'll have it back.
That's a good question. I haven't checked in on Mysterious Mod lately. I don't know if have they added Sakura. Someone should answer that question if you're listening and you know the answer to that question. If Mysterious Mod has added Sakura and whether or not she has Tatsu loops. I would be willing to guess that yes, they have, but it's also been a minute since I've checked in on that. So to be determined, folks, because I'm not going to Google that right now on a podcast, because that's not what podcasts are for. You just say the wrong thing into a microphone, and then people correct you days or even years later.
No, you have to be ahead of them. Nah, you have to be ahead.
I don't give a shit.
You have a laptop in front of you.
I've got two monitors in front of me. I have the internet at my fingertips, and yet here I am. Now trust me, this is an old adage, and I believe it to be true. But the fastest way to get an answer to something is to state it incorrectly on the internet. And you'll be corrected so fast with the exact right information. It's the best. So
that's how you get people to hate you faster.
That's the hidden tech. Just like, in high advanced play, Wake Up EX Shoryuken is the advanced tech, or Wake Up Critical Art, as we saw, as the advanced tech.
Yeah.
Just say the wrong thing online, you'll get the correct answer within seconds. I guarantee it.
Just say that you play Abigail.
Yeah,
people will come running.
Yeah, they'll tell you that you're trash. But anyway, that's a show, folks. Before we go, Emily, where can people find you on the internet?
Twitter and Instagram. TokiMekiEmily everywhere. Twitter, Instagram.
Brand
so
solidarity.
If you guys want, So if you guys want, follow me. I appreciate it. So thank you so much for having me on your podcast.
Of course, it was a pleasure. And you can find me at Super Joe Monday or at RedditSF on Twitter.com. Or if you hop on over to our Street Fighter, find me at Joe_Monday. And that's the show, folks. Next week, well, actually this week, I'll be on this. We're not recording this on a Thursday. But I'll be on a plane today, if you're listening to this on a Thursday. And then next week, I'll be in Japan. We will see what becomes of the show next week. It'll be an on-site thing, so expect bad audio quality next week. That is neither here nor there, because who knows who we're going to see out there, or if we're going to have time for that stuff. Because I'm looking to have a good time. It's Sakura season, by the way. Speaking of Sakura.
Yes.
So, just staying on brand. But anyway, folks, that's a show. We'll catch you next week some way. Don't forget the Monday Night Tournament will still be happening. Likely Noguremi or Kamikaze will be running that. Fridays will go unchanged. And that's the show, folks. Until next time, take care.